I'm Charlie Smith, editor of Pancouver. Today, I'm pleased to be joined by a genuine cultural navigator. Lara Wong is a flautist and bansurist from Vancouver. Now she's based in Madrid, where she's a highly respected flamenco musician. So respected, in fact, that she became the first non-Spaniard to win a prestigious honor, the Filon First Prize for Best Flamenco Instrumentalist in the Festival Cante de las Minas. In September and October, Lara is touring BC, Ontario, and Quebec with flamenco guitarist Melon Jimenez. On September 20th, they will be at the Waterfront Theatre on Granville Island as part of the Vancouver International Flamenco Festival. There, they will celebrate the pre-release of their upcoming album, Confluencias, with dancer Deborah La Caramelita and percussionist Davide Sampoalo. Thanks for speaking to Pancouver, Lara.
So happy to be here with you, Charlie.
Okay. You're going to be performing in the Gulf Islands in Ontario and Quebec, where you used to live. What would you like people to know about this upcoming tour?
Well, this upcoming tour is special for us because some of it includes our album and release tour. So starting from September 20th with the Vancouver Flamenco Festival show, we're going to be touring new music that we've written that's from our album. And yeah, we have some special guests on tour with us as well. We'll have Deborah La Caramelita, who's a fantastic dancer from Vancouver, but she lives in France. And we also have George Crotty, who's a wonderful world music and jazz cellist who's based in New York. He'll be joining us in Toronto. And we also have another fantastic dancer, Maria from Madrid, who will be dancing with us in Montreal. So we have surprises here and there
Well, that's
too.
wonderful.
Yeah.
How would you describe the music that you're creating with Melon Jimenez?
I think our music is pretty unique. It's definitely not what you would expect from stereotypical or traditional flamenco music. It's we really like all types of music, so it's mixed with so many different influences. It's first of all, it's instrumental flamenco. So I know most people think of singing or hand clapping when they think of flamenco, but there's none of that. I mean, in the album there's some hand clapping, but it's just the flute and the guitar, and now we've started to put in some electronic elements as well. And I also play the bansuri, which is an Indian instrument. So yeah, some of our music is inspired by Indian sounds, and also the bansuri is a very versatile instrument that sounds like many other folk flutes and lets me play other kind of folk, world folk sounds. So.
Very interesting. And was there anything you were trying to accomplish with this particular project?
With the new album or
Yeah.
I think we just wanted to do something uh like both Melon and I, we really like electronic music, but we never got to do anything with it. So we did said let's dip our feet into this, and he got a MPC machine, which is like a beat maker. Um and and yeah, we started to play around with new sounds, and it's not like a super electronic album. Like in some of the songs, you won't even really notice it. It's just really a touch, but it definitely gives our music, which is really folk based, a modern sound.
Interesting. Is there a story you would like to share about any of the songs or your songwriting process?
Um, Let me see. I have to think about it. Well, a lot of the songs a lot of the songs on this album were kind of written in the span of the last 2 or 3 years. So some of the songs are maybe songs that some of our audiences have heard before, but yeah, Melon and I kind of share the composing process. I would say I write a lot of the melodies, and then he transforms it into a whole song and into something that I couldn't imagine, and yeah, that's kind of how
He
we.
adds that flair with his guitar. And
Yeah.
um, I'm curious how this album might differ from your debut album, Rosa de los Vientos.
Yeah, so basically what happened is Rosa de los Vientos is my personal album,
Yeah.
and Melon does record in it. He also plays in it because I was working with him since then. But Confluencias means confluences. So
Hmm.
it we named it that for several reasons. One was our coming together as a official group because I used to tour as Lara Wong trio. Now we tour as Lara Wong and Melon Jimenez. And so this album is officially us together. We're going to be both on the CD cover. And also because Confluencias just means the coming together of many different musical styles. Um, and so basically, yeah, it's a bit more modern than my old album. The compositions aren't just mine; they're also Melon's. And yeah, I guess the biggest difference is the electronic music, and it's less traditional. My first album kind of played more on traditional flamenco. This is definitely more world music.
Interesting. And it is remarkable that you're a person of Asian ancestry from Vancouver who's
Hmm.
mastered an Indian instrument, the bansuri, which you bring to the flamenco scene in Spain. And I want to start with the bansuri. What attracts you to this instrument? Like,
It's such a beautiful instrument. For those who don't know the bansuri, I always say, especially in Vancouver, it might be an instrument you've heard in your yoga class or meditation. It's got like just such a hypnotizing and soothing sound. Um, but I like to buy flutes. The flute is one of those instruments. It's like one of the oldest instruments. So every country has a flute, and when I
you
travel,
can
I
get one
like
in
to.
Peru that's different from one in
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Taiwan, that's different from one in India. Yeah.
Exactly. So I like to buy flutes whenever I see like something different. And I had a bansuri in my closet for like 10 years. And I didn't touch it until actually Deborah La Caramelita, the dancer who will be with us. She's a Canadian Indian Malaysian. So she started a new project that had Indian dance with flamenco, and she said, "Can you please play the bansuri?" So I don't know how to play it, but but I said I can learn it for her. And then so that was the first kind of that was the first time I like started to dedicate myself to it. And then later in Spain, I guess this is how I started playing with Melon as well. He said, "Oh, I know you play the bansuri. I play with a tabla, a percussionist, a very famous one in Spain who plays tabla, Indian tabla
Yeah,
as
I know
well."
Tablaya.
Yeah. So we started a group called Acali Canto, and then there I was like, okay, I really gotta learn this properly. And yeah, it's just a great instrument because they come in different sizes because they're not diatonic instruments like the flute, so you can't play in all scales. With them, you need a different one for each scale. So the big one sounds totally different from the small one. The small one has a very bright and happy sound, and the big one is just like it's it's this powerful booming sound. Um, so yeah, as I said before, they're super versatile. We were in Japan and people said, "Oh, that sounds so Japanese." And
Interesting.
then I also play some Celtic sounding things too, because the Celtic flute is also open hold flute. And I love Moroccan music, and it also sounds like a Moroccan flute, depending
Well,
on what.
I guess flamenco too. It has those roots from Rajasthan and the Middle
Exactly.
East and North Africa. So
Exactly.
it
We try and tie in all the roots of flamenco into our music. So, and in Spain, there's Celtic music too.
yeah.
So,
I'm curious too about what is it about flamenco music that touches your soul?
I don't know. It kind of came to me as a surprise. I was 10 years old and taking piano classes here in Vancouver. My teacher gave me a piece by Enrique Granados, a classical composer from Spain, and uh, and I just fell in love with that piece. And he said, "Oh, this has a lot of flamenco influences," and
Hmm.
I think it's the sadness, and kind of the yeah, just it's just very raw, and also it's very rhythmic. Um, because as a flute player, because I used to play classical music, and I never liked flute music because it's all very happy and like in orchestras, they give you just like all the birdy kind of chirpy or like French real is it called realism? Kind of modern French music. And it just wasn't, it wasn't dramatic and sad and
You get the catharsis in flamenco music that doesn't maybe exist in other art forms. Do
yeah,
you,
so flamenco gave me the opportunity to bring out to express
yeah,
that. So,
yeah. Well, I was fortunate recently to interview I don't know if you know her, a Taiwanese flamenco dancer in Spain,
oh yeah.
Shui Yushen.
Yeah,
She's with Ballet Nacional de España,
she's
and she just
fantastic.
performed in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And it was just so amazing watching kind of the urgency and the excitement of the performance. And
Hmm.
it makes me wonder how you feel when you're playing Bansuri in the midst of so much excitement.
Um, I mean, I think it's just yeah, for me it's just flamenco. It's just like I
Yeah.
feel like it's where I can express myself 100% and I feel like it's just totally natural and
Mhm.
that's what I most love about it, I guess, the excitement and the dramaticism.
And what was it like for you as a musician with Chinese ancestry to be breaking into the flamenco scene in Spain?
Um, so Spain is nothing like Canada. They're pretty behind on just like all there's yeah, there's more immigration now. There's actually a lot of Chinese immigrants. I live in Chinatown in Madrid. I think it's the second largest Chinese. I think Italy has the largest Chinese community and then Spain is the second and just
You're talking about on the continent of Europe or
yeah, in Europe,
no?
sorry. And and so there's a lot of Chinese people now, but yeah, it's definitely new immigration. Like they don't speak Spanish, and they kind of have their own communities still. But yeah, there's people just there's a lot more racism and ignorance in Spain. Um, so yeah, you'll get comments like comments just these comments are normal. They'll be like, "Oh, the Chinese flute girl." I'm half Chinese, half Japanese. So
Oh, you are.
they
Yeah.
don't differentiate
Hmm.
Chinese from Japanese from Korean and all that. So, and sometimes, but luckily, there hasn't been anything like really terrible that's happened to me. It's just like the little comments all the time, and sometimes you don't know if they're into you because you're just like an exotic like
Yeah.
uh thing that plays like something entertaining that's like wow, a Chinese person playing flamenco, but you don't know if it's because of that or because you play well. So
Well, I think the awards kind of speak for
yeah,
themselves.
so the award definitely helped me uh take away those doubts and kind of,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we're doing a series called Beyond Chinese, which is trying to, highlight the diversity of people with Chinese ancestry, but also address stereotypes. And I'm wondering if there's anything you'd like to say on this topic, or any advice you might have for young musicians who are starting out.
I've yeah, I think I was pretty lucky. My father is from Hong Kong, but he 'cause I always get these comments, even from Chinese people. They're like, "Oh, your parents are Chinese, but they let you they let you be a musician and like what do your parents think about that?" Like it's like I get
There are a
this
lot of
question.
Chinese musicians. I just interviewed a hip hop artist doing urban
Oh
street music
wow.
from Hong Kong. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like nowadays it's not so unheard of, but it's still like it's not very common, but I was lucky because I think well, first of all, my mother's Japanese and she loves music, and my father is from Hong Kong, but his father was a writer and his mother is a painter. So he's my father is not an artist, but he likes to do film as a hobby.
Mhm.
So he is an artist, but his job isn't that. But so I was lucky to kind of not grow up in that so-called typical environment where they want you to, do get a job that's money making and all that. My parents were very supportive and they were always supportive.
So did you grow up learning either Cantonese or Japanese or both?
Dad actually speaks
Or does
more
he speak another dialect?
Mandarin because
Oh, he's Mandarin. Yeah.
his parents are Chinese.
Hmm.
So, but he speaks Cantonese. No, I speak Japanese.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And and when the word Chinese means many things to many people, it's
Yeah,
a broad term. It could be nationality, ethnicity, race,
exactly.
language. I'm going, what goes through your mind when you think of the word Chinese?
It's a bit confusing actually. I get confused um because we were in Taiwan last year in January. We got to play with a Taiwanese flutist, flamenco flutist actually. She invited us. And then we kind of learned about the whole situation in Taiwan. And I actually have family in Taiwan too. I have family in Taiwan, Hong Kong, and China. So
Wow.
it's all confusing to me when you call people Chinese or so so yeah, I'm a bit confused. I
I
need
hope
to
the conversation doesn't get heated over dinner.
no, no. So I definitely need to read more. Um, but I kind of on a broad sense, I kind of consider Chinese people as anyone who speaks Cantonese or um sorry
Mandarin or the other
Cantonese and
dialects. Yeah.
yeah, Mandarin or any other language, so any Chinese based
Yeah, like
language.
there's 100 languages in China,
Yeah,
Shanghainese and all these. Yeah.
exactly. So on the broad sense, yes, but then yeah, I know that each country is different and
Yeah. So you kind of look at it more through a linguistic lens. Yeah.
yeah, kind of, yeah.
And has your Chinese or Japanese ancestry informed your music in any way?
Um, I get okay, in Spain I always get comments saying, "Oh, your flamenco music is so beautiful and the Asian influence in it is wonderful." And I say, "Oh, but I don't actually play any.
You're
I mean,
classically trained in the West.
yeah, I
You
mean,
studied jazz.
yeah, they wouldn't say Asian, they would say Chinese influence or Japanese influence, because and there isn't any music that is particularly influenced by any Chinese or Japanese style. Although I really do like Japanese music, and I do want to play more of kind of Okinawan music. So, and my flute sometimes does sound like that, but like
Are your
deliberately, I
Japanese roots
haven't.
in Okinawa then?
No, I don't. I don't have
Oh,
roots
okay.
in
Because the
Okinawa.
Okinawans have like such a vibrant folk scene.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, their music is amazing. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but I'm hoping to, I have a Chinese flute, so I'm hoping to incorporate that. I also take some um, techniques from the shakuhachi, the Japanese shakuhachi flute, and
Mhm.
I use that on the bansuri and the regular flute. So I mean there are little things, but
You're really global. Well, this is wonderful. Where do you see your career going from here?
I think just keep going, doing what we're doing now, recording, touring, um, collaborating with more musicians. I think that's one thing I really want to do. Is just kind of play more and more with not just flamenco musicians, but for musicians with musicians from all the world. Um, and yeah, just playing more
Are you
countries.
teaching as well, or do you look at that
I
as, do you have an
I mean
aspiration for that?
I teach a little bit, but but we tour a lot, and it's
Yeah, you're too
just
busy. Yeah.
I just can't maintain a regular a regular schedule for my students, which is so it's hard to.
Well, this is wonderful. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Um, no, just yeah, that I'm super happy to participate in this interview, and that if you want to come see our show, we'll be in Vancouver on September 20th. We have shows in Salt Spring and Galliano as well, and then later in a few shows in Ontario and also in Quebec. So yeah.
Très bien. Merci. Okay, Lara Wong is thank you very much, Lara.
Thank
Um,
you, Charlie.
Lara Wong is an award-winning flamenco flautist and bansurist based in Madrid, and she and Melon Jimenez will perform at the Vancouver International Flamenco Festival on September 20th, and it will mark the pre-release of their upcoming album. Thank you so much.
Thank you.